Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a couple of big canning projects. If you watched my last video that I put out from Costco, I'm going to be canning up some beef stew and some chicken pot pie mix and pheasant pot pie mix. So right now I'm just browning up this pheasant and I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the oven to finish it off. I know with chicken, you can just raw cut it or cut it raw and also can it in your pot pie mix raw. But I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a sear on this and cook it up just so I can make sure that it has the best taste on it. So I just went ahead and threw a sear on this pheasant, and then I'm going to throw it in my oven at 300 degrees for about 5 to 8 minutes until it's 140. Okay, while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and I just got 2 of these little chicken birds at Costco, and I'm going to put these in a roasting pan and get these in the oven so this can be cooking while I'm processing my vegetables for, I'm going to start with the beef stew so this can go ahead and cook. Now you don't have to use cooked chicken. You can cut it up raw into about 1-inch chunks or smaller, maybe ½ inch, depending on how big you want your chicken for chicken soup, chicken pot pie. But I just went ahead and bought these whole birds, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cook the whole bird and shred it. I felt like it was more economical to do this way. So that's what I'm gonna do next. All right, so I went ahead and I'm taking a roasting pan and it has a rack inside. I just went ahead and sprayed some cooking oil in there just so the chicken won't stick to it. Or that's the hope. So I am just gonna get these chickens out of the bag here. And it looks like they do have a packet of their innards. Last time I bought these, they didn't have these in here. So you want to make sure that you get that out. All right, I'm going to put breast side up. And I already made one batch of, I had a rotisserie chicken that I had bought, and I made a batch of chicken broth with it in my Instapot, and I already have, I just threw it in the Instapot yesterday, let it go for a few hours, and then I canned it up quickly last night, and I got 5 pints. So I'm gonna go ahead and do another batch or 2 of chicken broth with these bones after I roast them. And what I'll do is I just will throw this stuff right on her and seasoned, and then I'll get these in the oven. All right, I went ahead and got my mess cleaned up, and I put just some foil on that pheasant to keep it warm until I'm ready to work with it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start processing my vegetables for the stew. I have potatoes, carrots, and celery that I need to put a chop on. So let's get going on that. All right, so the 2 recipes we're working out of today is I'm going to be using the all new Ball Book of Canning and Preserving. If I recommend any canning book, I have another favorite one here somewhere, but it's this one if you're starting out. And I already have it marked. It's a chicken pot pie mix. It's actually called a hearty chicken stew. And it has directions down here on the bottom if you want to make it into a pot pie mix. I like this because it's versatile. You can put rice in it, throw it in a pot for a quick night dinner. You can throw rice in it, egg noodles, that sort of thing. And it is on page 283 of this canning book. And then the other one is, this one's a new one. I got it at Barnes & Noble, but I'm sure you can find it on Amazon probably for cheaper. But it is right here. It's called Beef Stew, and it's on page 186, The Essential Canning Cookbook by Molly Bravo. And it also gives tips for after canning. If you want to make a thicker stew, you can add in a cornstarch slurry, and you can even add in red wine at the time of your cooking. So this, I'm going to go ahead and start dicing up the vegetables. I think I got 4 pounds of stew meat, beef chuck, and this one calls for 3 pounds, but I thought that I would rather have more meat than not enough, and I can always throw some extra jars together. And then, so it's calling for 3 cups of diced carrots, 3 cups of diced celery, and 3 cups of diced potatoes, and 2 cups of diced onions. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the 3 cups of diced carrots first. So, and I have a lot of carrots here. I don't remember, both recipes called for quite a bit of carrots. And I figured if I have any left over, I would just throw them in a jar and pressure can just the carrots, because my husband likes canned carrots. So, and I think I might even do that with potatoes. All right, I went ahead and grabbed a stock pot because we're gonna be cooking in the stock pot. And that way I can just throw things in there as I chop it. I went ahead and grabbed a 2-cup measuring cup. I need 3, so I'll just make that overflowing, and we should have what we need. And you can choose whatever size you want to make your carrot sizes. I'm going to go with smaller sizes because I like when you get a spoonful, you can kind of get a couple different bites of vegetable with your meat. But I don't want it so small that they'll disappear with the canning process, because carrots tend to get a little softer. So what I'm doing is I'm just chopping small rounds, and then when I get to the carrot that's a little bigger, I'm just cutting it in half. And then doing halves. So I went ahead and washed up the carrots and got them in my stock pot. And I was just thinking, since I'm already doing the carrots, that I would go ahead and look at my chicken recipe. And it looks like I need 1.5 cups of carrots. So I know for sure I'm gonna double this recipe. So I will go ahead and just cut up another 3 cups. Now this recipe calls for 3 cups of chopped celery. And then the chicken recipe calls for 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, since I'm doubling it, I'm gonna go ahead and do 1 cup. So I'll need 4 total cups of celery. I'm just gonna cut these ends off and throw it in my broth pot. Now I'm not a big celery fan. So I'm just gonna cut these in smaller pieces. I don't seem to mind them if they're in a soup or whatnot when they're a little bit smaller and softer. I know that they're really good for you. I even put them in my dog food, but I just have never been a fan. You can put as much peanut butter as you want on them and I will not eat them. And I do enjoy most vegetables, but I think it's that stringy texture, if you know what I'm talking about. The thing about this. I'm not going to hold on to these scraps because I'm going to use this broth for dog food and I don't want the onions in there. Okay, so I moved my recipes closer so I could see them. It looks like I need 2 cups of diced onions for the stew. And then for the chicken, I need 1.5 cups. So what, 3 cups of onions? I might not have enough onions, we'll see. Hopefully I do. These onions are strong. You can already smell them. Now my nose is gonna start up. I don't generally have problems with them bothering my eyes. I think it's because I wear contacts. I naturally have watery eyes anyway, but it does get to my sinuses. What was that? 2 cups, okay. I just checked on the chicken and it's almost there. It's about 145 and we need it to get up to 165. We are going to be pressure cooking the chicken, so I'm not super concerned. I might take it out a little earlier. I just want it done enough that I can easily pull it away from the chicken. All right, so I got these potatoes, this first batch of potatoes peeled. And I'm, again, just gonna be chopping these in little bite-sized pieces. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw them in here because, what was it? Are you one of those people that have to keep looking at your recipe? 3 cups. It just seems like when I get in the kitchen, I get going in so many different directions. I like to say that I'm a multitasker, but the older I get, the less multitasking I'm good at. So I am done with all the vegetables and I am going to go ahead and brown up this beef. Loud, sorry. You don't have to brown up your beef if you don't want to, it's optional, but I'm just going to give it a little sear on each side because it just adds depth to your finished product. So I'm going to go ahead and check on this chicken though real quick. All right, so the chicken is still sitting at 145. So I went ahead and put the tinfoil back on because it's really browning up good now, and I don't want to slow that down and just get it cooked internally. So anyway, I went to the local butcher shop here in Hillsboro, and you know, it may be Beaverton. I don't know. It's up here near Hillsboro. And I got this beautiful stew meat. They actually were just putting the tray out of it when I was waiting in line. And I went ahead and got 4 pounds. And they wrapped it up so nicely. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab a rubber glove and a scale because I want 3 pounds for this recipe and see where we're at. All right, while that's browning up, I went ahead and I grabbed my stock pot of vegetables. I'm gonna get this set on here. And then I need to see what else I need to add to this. I need to grab my broth. Let me grab my recipe. All right, so we want to brown the beef. Remove pan from heat and set aside. Okay, in a large stock pot, combine ground beef, carrots, celery, potatoes, onions, and salt. If using, we're going to hold out on the salt at the moment. I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce, thyme, rosemary, and black pepper. Bring the mixture to a gentle boil. Okay. Pop up my cookbook here. I need one of those cookbook holders. Let's see, what was it? Thyme, rosemary, and black pepper. So we need 1 teaspoon of thyme. Teaspoon of dried rosemary. Take off the plastic cap. And this is not crushed, if you can see right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a little bit of a crush as I put it in there, just to break down those pieces. It smells like Thanksgiving now. Between that rosemary and that chicken. And then we want a 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And I just want a little on the higher side of that. And I can always adjust the flavor once we get to cooking on that. Give my beef a stir here. And I'm gonna go in about 1/4. We'll start there. About 1/4 of a cup. Go ahead and turn that off. And then this is what we're looking like. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can do this gracefully. I did make a mess. I can't believe it. See, I said I didn't make a mess the last time, and then here I go making another mess. I'm just gonna give these a little shake. containers seem like they should be user-friendly, but I guess me and user-friendly don't work. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put 4 of the 16.9 containers. I believe that's a little over 64 ounces, but I think once I start cooking this, it's gonna cook off anyway. All right, let's go ahead and get this turned on. And I did go ahead and put a little extra beef in here. So I still may add a little bit of salt to this recipe. Get my mess cleaned up here real quick. So this is what we're looking at this point right now. All right, I think this is ready to jar up. It smells absolutely delightful. All right, it's already almost 2 o'clock, so I don't think that I'm gonna be getting to the rest of the chicken tonight. I was not thinking ahead when I packed, and I should have just brought my bigger pressure canner, but I didn't. I just have my electric. So I can only do 5 jars at a time in there, which is fine. The positive thing is that my chicken is my chicken soup is prepped. All I have to do is chop up potato for it, which I'll do tomorrow. And then I'm gonna go ahead and clean these chickens, all the meat off of it, and then it'll be easy to assemble in the morning and get it going. So I'm just gonna try to take a spoonful here and make sure I kind of have a good amount of meat to veggie ratio. And you're gonna want a 1-inch headspace on this. So I'm just gonna fill it like this, and I'll come back in and top it off with the juice after I get the veggies in there. Excuse me. And I can always maneuver it around. Turned out pretty. All right, I'm gonna get something to debubble. I'm just gonna grab a spoon. This one already seems like it's pretty good on the fluid. We want to keep that inch headspace, and that's already about perfect ratio. We'll set that one aside. So because we're using fatty meat and broth, we just want to make sure that we clean this rim really good. And I just like using a little vinegar to cut anything on there. That way we make sure we get a good seal with the lids. Here's a close-up of the beef stew. You can see the ones with the peas, and then on this side, no peas. All right, good morning. It's a new day. I ended up with 12 jars of stew done yesterday. They all sealed, washed up. Now I have, if you hear my canner going, I apologize, but it's gonna be in the background of this video. I have 2 more jars of the beef stew, and then I went ahead and canned up some broth, more broth, right here. I ran this morning early, and then I had 3 more jars in to make it a full batch on that canner. So the electric canner, the Nesco, holds 5 pint jars, and that's where you know, having your bigger canner is a lot better. You can get a lot more done in less time. The problem is that when I have multi-projects going on, it's harder for me to babysit the canner that I can put on the stove, because I'm just terrible at that. So that is just what we're going with. I have the time to do it. I'm gonna get it done. So today my #1 goal is to drink more water, because I barely drank any yesterday and I'm feeling that fatigue today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these jars put away, and then let's get the chicken stew ingredients all back out so we can get those put together. That way when this canner goes off in an hour or 2, I guess, once I can pull it, I can get that batch of chicken in. So that's where we are. All right, I went ahead and grabbed out this Pheasant chicken thighs and breasts. I think he said there was thighs in there. I'm just grabbing some gloves. I hate the way, I don't like chicken on my hands. I don't like the feeling of it. Anybody else that way? Okay, so this recipe calls for 3 cups of cubed and skinned. So we're gonna just start chopping here and see where we get. So I did a little bit more. I did almost 4 cups actually, but I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, I think I'm gonna definitely be able to get 2 batches out of just this pheasant. I have a clean stock pot, and then I have my vegetables I pre-cut yesterday, and these were the onions, celery, and carrots. So I need to see what we need. I need to melt 1 tablespoon of butter in my stainless steel, and then add onions and mushrooms. I'm going to saute that for 5 minutes. So let's get some butter. I did get mushrooms. I definitely may need to run back to the store if I do multiple batches. I just want to kind of see what 1 batch comes up to. This says 6 pint jars is what the recipe makes. But I tend to go over that. Okay. All right. That butter's melted. I probably shouldn't have thrown the onions in on top of all the other vegetables, but at least the onions were on the top. Be good enough. Did a quick chop on these, and I think I was able to get 2 cups out of it that way, or 1 cup, and I only need a ½ a cup of recipe. So that's going to stretch my mushrooms a bit. And I'm just going to let those cook till they get translucent. we are ready for the next ingredient. Add carrots, celery, and potatoes. Okay, let me grab my potatoes. All right, and then we're just gonna saute this for a couple minutes. And then we're gonna stir in our chicken stock. Now you can use your own homemade, which I feel like I should be doing since I just made a ton of it, but I just bought stock from Costco that's pre-flavored with all the extras. And then we're gonna bring to a boil, reduce heat to medium, and cook uncover for 10 minutes. Okay. And these are 4 cups per serving, so I'm gonna need to open one of them, and then I'm gonna put one whole one of these in here. Bottom. I'm going to go ahead and get some liquid in here. All right, so my veggies are definitely tender now, and I'm gonna go ahead and add in the next ingredients. So we're gonna stir in chicken peas and lemon juice. How much lemon juice do I need? I don't know, we'll get the chicken in. And then peas, we won't forget those this time. Half a cup of sweet peas. So I got my gigantic bag of peas. See if I can make a mess. That's more like a cup. All right, so just 1 tablespoon of that. All right, so we got the pheasant in there, all the veggies, lemon juice. Okay, we want to throw in a bay leaf. Which I probably should have done in the beginning, but we'll let it sit in there while we finish this. And then, oh, I guess I should, I hate when it says add next 5 ingredients. So I guess I should have added the thyme, the salt, the black pepper, the bay leaf at that point. Okay, well, let's go ahead and add it in now. All right, I got everything done. I ended up with a full case of chicken broth, and then these are backwards, but a full case of beef stew, a full case of the chicken stew, and then more, like half a case of more bone broth, and then the pheasant made 7 pints. So I ended up with 50 total jars altogether. All right, so 50 jars down, and took me 3 days. I definitely don't recommend that if you're on a time crunch to use the electric pressure canner in this kind of situation, because 50 jars took a while to do. But I'm house sitting, dog sitting, so I wasn't in a great big hurry, and it worked out just fine because I was able to put it in the canner, walk away, and do something else, and not have to babysit it. So again, thanks for clicking on my video, and I'm sorry if it was a little rough. It's been, what, 6 months since I filmed a video, so I'm hoping to get more out there and be more regular throughout this season, and get a little bit better at it again. So have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.